welcome to the 60th episode of the Pickleball Crew. Tonight we have a special guest with us, Bernard LeBlanc. And Vicki, why don't you take it away and get us started?
Sure. Bernard, we want to thank you, first of all, for being with us. We think of you as a friend, co-player, coach, incredible athlete. I mean, there's so many questions for us to ask. And now we can add to that an NPL player, pro player, which we're so excited about. And we're going to get to that in a little bit. But we thought that we would ask you, if you wouldn't mind, tell us a little bit about your background and growing up. What sports? I mean, did you play any paddle sports or racket sports? What did you do? And maybe you can lead that into your pickleball journey, when you were introduced to pickleball, and how did that begin for you?
Okay. Well, I started off, everybody know I'm from one of the Caribbean islands, Dominica. We are known for cricket and soccer. So growing up, and obviously track and field. So I grew up playing soccer, cricket, track and field, representing my country for all three of them at the youth level, and also on the senior level, but on the adult level in track and field, do high jump, triple jump, long jump. Um, very little tennis. I started tennis a little bit in Dominica, maybe for a year maybe before I moved to the States to school, and I keep playing for a little bit. But then I started playing the racquetball a little bit. So I have so racket sport, and obviously back home I used to play a lot of ping pong. I used to be like really good at ping pong. So I played that for a while. No tennis. I really started playing when I got up here to the States. Pickleball I just started playing like what three years ago. So really that's the only racket sport I had, was maybe a little bit of tennis in the beginning. But then when I moved to the States, I play a lot of tennis. I used to play around at least on a Saturday. I used to play at least tennis from about like 6 a.m. to about 8 p.m. nonstop. I mean tennis. And so I started at out of 3-0, and within about 2 years, I was actually at a 5-0 level, competing around the southern. I played in some southern championships, and then so I get hurt. In tennis from my shoulder, so I couldn't go any further. So I picked up golf. And within about a year and a half, I was like maybe almost a scratch golfer. So right now, I'm actually a scratch golfer. Shooting, maybe my lowest score was at least 64. 2 years ago, I played a whole season, and my highest score was 75. Everything else was below par. So I'm being growing up in athletics was something that I was excel at. So pickleball is something that I knew I was going to pick it up. It was a matter of time as to how which path I took. And again, I always tell people my pickleball journey was by default is really an accident. When I am playing racquetball one day, one of my friends we were leaving, and he was like, I was like, where are you going to? He's like, I'm gonna play some pickleball. I was like, pickleball. I say, okay, I'm gonna come. So I go with him. I played with guys that played for at least a couple of months, 3 months, 6. I mean, one of the guy played for at least a year and a half. My first day I came there, I could beat them. So I was like, okay, I think I can play that game. I love the game because it's like tennis. But then I came to play against, I think my first time actually really playing a real pickleball game is like, I think I came to Pelican Park, and I actually meet you and Ken. So I guess, so thank you guys. Like I said, I could not be in anywhere else. I could not be in anywhere in pickleball without you guys actually introducing me to the game and bringing me in and inviting me to play with you guys. So that's where I really start to figure out, okay, man, if I need to be good, I need to play with better players. So thank you guys for actually inviting me. And then, so I remember one of my defining moment in pickleball actually came, and I'm going to give Jeff Fusha credit for it. And again, by accident.
We're going to take a short break, so stay with us. We'll be right back. The Pickleball Crew. We are a group of pickleball fanatics based in Southeast Louisiana and are passionate about all things pickleball everywhere. Our focus is to inform, acknowledge those who help build the game regionally, and promote tournaments in our area. We do our best to present this with a love of the sport, a sense of humor, and a lot of fun. So join Vicki Wynn, Ken Wynn, Jeff Fuchsia, and me, Bud Klein, in our latest episode. We are glad you are along for the ride.
What happened is this: I played with you guys on a Tuesday, and then I actually met Jeff Warren. So I didn't get his number, so I get his number. I get Alexis. I call Alexis, and I asked Alexis for his number. He gave me Jeff's number, so I called Jeff. But I actually spoke to Jeff Fuchsia.
Oh.
So no, but it's crazy because and it's everything happened. Honestly, it was so unscripted. So I called Jeff and I was like, Jeff, I think I saw you play today, and he let me talk for like at least 3 minutes on the phone, and then he told me, I think you're talking about the wrong Jeff. so I hope you remember that. So he told me. So he told me, okay, well, I'm going to be at the Hiltons on Wednesday. So come by. He will look at I was like, man, I need some help. I need you to help. I like the way you play and stuff. He told me, no, I'm doing just the wrong Jeff. But if you come to Hiltons tomorrow, I'll look at the game and I'll give you some tips. So actually, I did come to Hilton. I played against him, and then he pulled me aside and told me, okay, you can be a great player, but there's something you need to do. If you can soften your game and combine your power game with your soft game, I think you'll be a top player in the area. So I thought of that because I really did fire a lot of hot shot at him, and he was just bringing it back, and I was like, man, how does he do that? So eventually I transformed my game through Jeff, and now you look at me play now. I'm probably hitting maybe 5% of my including, well, not excluding my serving. 5% of my total game would be power, and about 95% of it would be soft game. So that's how I end up where I am right now. So if I have to give, I'd be remiss if I don't tell the story and actually give you guys, Ken and Vicki, you guys, praise for actually bringing me in, and Jeff for seeing my talent and giving me the foresight as to what I need to do to improve my game. So that's why actually me being where I am right now in pickleball is actually a lot to do with you guys.
Well, we appreciate that. However, I know without a doubt that you have probably put some heavy mileage on your car over the years, these 3 years, because I don't know of any other player who has explored more than you. One day you're in New Orleans, the next day you might be in Hattiesburg, the next day you might be in Mandeville, Louisiana, the next day you'll be in Baton Rouge. I mean, you really managed to get yourself around and explored places to play. And I mean, I'm sure without a doubt you were able to truly see where your good competition was and where you needed to be to get your game where it is today.
Yeah, but the good thing about it, thanks Vic for bringing it up. But the good thing about that is it gave me a chance to see all different levels.
Mm-hmm.
When I go to Baton Rouge and play with those guys, Jeff and those guys, everything was soft and organized. When I go to the Hilton, it's a bunch of bangers, So seeing that both end of the spectrum, I mean, I have to change my game over a period of hours, because I would play Hilton in the afternoon time with a bunch of bangers, and then evening time I'd run straight to Baton Rouge, and then I had to change my game on a dime to play with Jeff and those guys. And this was like so hard. But
Right.
over the years, I actually do it for about a year, playing in both groups, and I think that's one of the things that helped me a lot. I mean, be able to transform. So now, doesn't matter who you are, I can play against you. You can bang as hard as you want. I've seen it. Play as soft as you can. I've seen it. So yeah, I'm okay.
But it's interesting you say that though, Bernard. For me, it's most a lot of players with a lot of talent that's a transition that they have to make. Because when I first started playing with you, you could see the raw potential and the power that you had. But now, the last year in watching you play, and it's kind of how the people get confused and they think the pros are just, man, they're just all about power. But if you really watch what's going on, and it's how you've transformed your game, you're dinking and dunking and moving them around until you make them pop up, and then the power comes into play. So I'm glad to hear you say that, because I think that's some of the best advice we can give to new players, powerful players coming in, to figure out that soft game, because it sets up so much stuff, to be able to finish points.
And Jeff, I mean, like I said, that's one of the most important thing too. And I don't want to say that the game is totally supposed to be on one spectrum or the other. I don't want you to
That's
think
correct.
you only have to play soft game, or you only have to hit powerful game. If you can combine these two together, and that makes you a complete player. So it's very important to, at a higher level, to have a power game, but to use it at the right time. Because I mean, using the power at the wrong time, two things happen: you hit the ball up at the hitting zone, or you hit it out. So for me, is part of my game that's really good, is because what I do is, you seldom see people attacking me, because I'm never giving you a chance to attack me, because I keep you moving. As long as I keep you moving, I think I have the upper hands. So if I standing still and you're moving, I think that you always are going to be at the disadvantage. All right. So if I can if I can get you moving before you get me moving, I think I get you. It's a matter of time that you pop it up. All right, or give me the shot I need. Maybe not pop it up here, but at least I can attack you when I know that you are most vulnerable when you're moving. So if people the lower level players start to think of that being, especially if you have tennis and you have that power, use it at the right time. Power at the right time is dangerous. All right, power at the wrong time is catastrophic. Be very careful. Yeah.
I liked what you said too about, by you playing at all these different venues and playing against all these different styles, you're going to eventually see shots that are similar to all these different type of players. So it's better to get used to some of these shots now, rather than just playing the same style of pickleball all the time. So I like what you said, by just playing at different venues against different players, even of different levels. That's going to improve your game, because you're going to see different shots that you wouldn't see.
Yes, but and Ken, that's right. And the other thing I would impress about most players too is, when you go play rec game, that's the only chance you get to really practice. So you will very seldom see me playing rec. Like when I go play with Jeff and those guys, we know it's organized play. So I'm gonna play serious, because we are all at the same level. But for me, I love playing the lower level players, because they are so unpredictable. All right, they are so unpredictable. They hit shots that you will never know that can even invent it. They hit shots. I promise you,
That's
they hit shots that has not even been invented. So if you can defend against those guys, but that too is this. But I always tell people, if you are playing, if you are 5-0 or you're 4-5, and you're playing against a 3-5 player, and you go ahead there and you beat that player 11-1 or 11-2 or 11-0, you do yourself a disservice, because that's the time where you should be able practicing your any shots that you are trying to add to your arsenal. For me,
Right.
I almost never win. I almost never win against playing 3-5s or 3-0s. Almost never win. I mean, they beat me all the time. You know why? Because there's a shot that I'm trying to practice, and I will try to hit that shot all through the day. I might miss it for the next 2 weeks. I don't care. I'm just trying to learn that shot, put it in muscle memory. Eventually, I'm gonna get it. How I end up beating like guys like Jeff and those guys is the same thing I do. I always realize if I cannot get a shot consistently and win the points against a 3-5 with a certain shot, I'm not gonna bring that against Jeff and those other guys. It's not gonna work. So I gotta make sure I can do that consistently against 3-5s first before I even bring it out against Jeff and those guys because what it's of no use. You know what I mean? So that's why I want people to say play against. You should not only play people at your own level, because when you go play against your players at your same level, you are going to compete. That's right before you go play a tournament. So you're competing. You're trying to hone in your strategies and your ball placement. But when you do just regular reg play, you should never ever play to win as an upper level player, because that is for me, it's a waste of time. Why are you there? I mean, me playing to win against a 3-5 player is like just going in and beat them 11-0 and next, and then I hit 11 shots. But if I go there and try to hit one shot, it's not just playing 11 shots. No, I'm hitting like almost 100 shots to play against a 3-5. That is just repetition. And sometimes I'll play against lower level players and I'll hit one shot all match. Right? One shot all match. I'll hit the touch drop in the same spot every time. No matter where I'm on the court, I'm gonna try to hit that same spot every time. All right. Then no, that what that does is it helps you out, because no matter where you are on the court, you can find that specific location. Because guess what? Say you have a player on the right side, and then you know that's weaker player, and you on the right side. I can find him. If I go in the middle, I can still find him. If I go on the left side, I can still find him. But you got to practice those shots, right? You got to practice. You got to practice those shots. So when you play lower level players, practice the shots that you think that you need against the better players. If you can get it consistently against the lower level players, then you can introduce it to against the better players. And I think you have a much better option, because now you know what you know is this. You know what's going to be the outcome. So the thing is, what people do is, I think they just hit the ball and play. You got to figure out what's the outcome. When I hit that shot, what's the most likely options, or what's the most likely outcomes, and based on the results of that shot. Sometimes you hit a shot, and there's two things that somebody can do. They can either go cross court sometimes and go down the middle, because they can't go on down the line because where you place the ball. All right. So now, instead of defending 3 places, you only have 2 places to defend. You see, so something like that, you have to put that into your game, and then now the defense, your opponent game becomes more predictable. So I have 2 places to defend instead of 1 place to defend, instead of 3 places to defend, and that's gonna help you out a lot.
That's
That
good
makes a
stuff.
lot of sense. Yeah,
Yep.
makes a lot of sense. And that confidence that you
Yes.
build by working on that shot, you're going to feel that much more confident when you play with better players
But yes.
to introduce it. So.
Yeah, that's it. But again, repetition is breeds confidence. The more you can do a shot, the more confident you are. So and I think a lot of thing about pickleball, I think, is if you want to be a good player, or you want to improve your third shot drop, people think, and that's where I try to change people's mind a little bit about the third shot drop, right? People think that the third shot drop has to be as low above the net as possible. All right. And I think that's where a lot of people go wrong. So to me, your third shot should be the worst of your drops, so-called drops. All right. Because most likely you are the furthest back. So the only way you could improve your third shot drop is by improving your defense. So guess what? If you have a good defense, you don't care how high your third shot drop is, because you know it's gonna come back, right? So you can defend, and then you are in the court. You can, so every time you hit the third shot should be your worst shot. The fifth shot might be a little better. Your 7th shot should be just perfect. You see, because now you are improving the position. So every shot you hit on the court should be one purpose in mind: to improve your position, meaning that your goal is to get to the kitchen. All right. So you don't have to rush to the kitchen. It might take you 10 shots to get there. what is the outcome? Your goal is to get to the kitchen. It's not how fast you get to the kitchen. All right. So we have this. It's nice to hit the touch shot perfect and get to the kitchen. But what with that, especially lower level players, they think that as soon as you hit the touch shot job, you have to run it. And because reason why people miss a lot of touch shot job too is because your defense in the transition zone is bad. So if you want to improve any part of your game, you gotta work on improving your skills at the transition zone. So right now, I don't care how high I hit the ball on my third shot job. Obviously, you don't want to hit it above shoulder height, but I'm not gonna miss in the net. I'm gonna hit it like 3 feet over the net. As long as they can hit down it seriously, I'm okay because I have confidence I can defend from the transition zone, right? So that's the thing. That's the thing I want people to understand is when you play pickleball and if you want to improve your third shot job, you have to improve your play at the transition zone. If you can learn to defend from transition zone, your third shot becomes easier because you don't have to worry about how low you hit it over the net. Most times you hit it low over the net, you can hit it in the net. Your third job is sometimes, obviously, you have a tall player coming in, you have to be careful too. But the thing is, if you hit the ball anywhere right just between the net and chest, right below the chest height, you have a chance because they really can hit down on the ball that much. They can hit through the ball. They're not gonna hurt you. That high over your head, yes, of course they hit down on it. So you don't have to be so scared of hitting a touch of drop a little high. I rather you hit it high a little bit, let him hit the ball, and you can return it easily because by then you still back. All right. So, but the thing is, what most people do is we tend to go on offense too early. We unless you at the kitchen, you should assume a defensive position. All right, because that's the only because remember in the transition zone is you're trying to figure out how to get to the kitchen line so you could be a little more offensive. All right, but until you get there, if you change your mindset and say, okay, everything I do is gonna be defensive from there. I'm gonna assume a defensive posture from the baseline to the kitchen line. You will realize that you will end up having a much more offensive opportunities because you started off on a defensive posture. You work your way up there, so now you're ready. You're ready, right? So, but people end up in an offensive position too early, and now they have to default to defense. It's much easier to transition from defense to offense than to go from offense to defense. So if you have a defensive posture, it's very easy to transform it to offensive. But if you're in an offensive posture, it's very difficult to get transition back to a defensive posture. So that's why you'll see the pros, they remain on defensive posture until they get an opportunity to go on offense. Because that's the best way, that's the best way to improve your game. Assume every time your opponent has the ball, you should automatically default to defense. Right? Automatically default defense. Once I hit the ball, I have no more control over what's happening. Now the ball's on the opponent's side. So why am I in the defensive posture if I don't know why am I in the offensive posture if I have no idea what the opponent gonna do? So that's why I say you should always be defensive. Even in transition zone, if you just change your mindset and be a little more defensive, you will find yourself getting back a lot more balls, and it will improve your game drastically.
Yeah. So that's so good because the transition zone is the forgotten area on the court. You got a lot of people that are good on the baseline, and them or others are good at dinking up front, but they forget about that transition zone. Sometimes people call it no man's land. It's not something that you should call no man's land. It's an area that you should hang out in drills and work your tail off in, because it's just that. It is a place where you can transition from that defensive posture you're talking about to get up front, to move people around, to go on the offense. You see it a lot, Bernard, in 3-5 play and 3-0 play. they'll hit a couple of drops, and then they're still back in transition zone just a little bit. Then they get, I've been telling people, it's pick that ball out. It's that easy last ball that you need one more shot to get it in the kitchen to finish getting yourself there. And a lot of times they'll take that ball and hit it hard.
Get it up. I know. Oh my God.
Yeah. So 3-5s out there, you really need to take note of this, of what you just explained it really, really good. Take and find that ball. It's in a lot of points that you're speeding up too soon, and take that ball and put it in the kitchen. And you got to look at the big picture over time. 100 rallies. If you were winning 40% of them, if you'll find that ball, then you'll start winning 60 to 70% of them, because you hit the right shot, that one more shot. And honestly, we talk with a lot of people about pickleball. You just explained it as good or better than I've ever heard anybody say it, with a lot of depth. That was like really good. Really.
Yeah, but what I also see too and Jeff, to pick back on that, it's not only in the 3-5. I see that now transitioning a lot into 4-5 players now, and I see where people attacking two, like, I mean, sometimes I say, hey, you had one more shot and you had your opponent pinned down, one more shot and you had them, and they attack and they lose the point. I was like, one more shot. Yeah. But again, what I was saying is the reason why I think the transition zone is probably the most important part of it. And and back to you, Jeff. The idea of transition zone is a no man land is a myth. I mean, for me is just take this off your mind and throw it in the garbage. That's the myth. It's called a transition zone for a reason. You gotta see it's transitioning from one place to the other. No one says you have to. You can stay there as long as you can. What I said is that you have to, unless you hit a shot that you improve your position, you better stay where you are. You have every shot you hit is for one reason: is to get to the kitchen line. It's not to win the point before you get to the kitchen line.
That should be your ultimate goal.
Ultimate goal.
Yes. You are serving the ball.
Yes, the ultimate goal is to get the kitchen. Is to get to the kitchen line. So it doesn't matter how long it takes you. Obviously, if you get there in the first strike, perfect. If not, take your time. You don't have to rush up there. So I tell her two things: don't be scared of playing there, and don't treat the transition zone as a fly-through zone. You hit the ball, and as soon as your opponent, your partner hit the ball, your partner take off. We're not looking back. The only reason why I said how to solve that is this. And I was telling one of the guys I was helping out one day. I was like, okay, let me help you change the way you think about the how you approach the kitchen. So if you take the time, when Jeff, me and you, we are partners. Jeff, every time you hit the ball, if you turn back and look at Jeff hit that ball, you will never take off. You see, because you have to wait, watch Jeff hit that ball, track the ball from Jeff paddle all the way to the kitchen, and that will tell you, somewhere in between that, will tell you whether or not you should go or you should stay. Right. But the mere fact of just looking back, watching Jeff hit the ball will drastically slow down your game. So when you play on the way I'm a partner, whenever they hit a shot, always, especially if it's like it's a drop or a drive, doesn't matter what it is. Like sometimes, Jeff, you hit a drive and the partner runs in. He has no idea if you hit a drop or a drive. He just takes off. So what you need to do is, if you want to improve that part of the game, every time your opponent, your partner hits a ball, you need to look back, let him hit the ball, analyze the shot from his paddle. That's going to help you slow down your game drastically, and you will not find yourself running up. Yeah. Because now you have to wait a little longer to watch him hit the ball first. Yeah. And that will slow you down. And
if there's any question, then stay back. It's the best option. You know, if you're not sure, stay back.
Yeah,
It'll
yeah,
ball
you're
will
right.
tell.
That's right.
Ball will.
If you think you have any doubt as to if you think of any doubt as to whether or not you should go back, always default on staying back. Always default on staying back. Yes.
Yeah. I've been this is part of my game that I've really been trying to work on because I would get too anxious and want to move forward. So every other I always say this, every other sport we play, the more you hustle, the better you do.
Yeah.
But not pickleball. It's pickleball is a game of patience a lot of times and kind of let's wait and see what's going to go on. So it's interesting that you're saying this. Some people would think, oh, this guy's coming on, he's going to talk about how powerful he is and how he can do this and he can do that. And you are a powerful player, but you're talking more about the soft stuff setting up the power than you are about, oh, look at my power, which should be a signal to a lot of people out there to really take heed to what's being said here.
That's it for part 1. Stay tuned next week for part 2. All right, crew, that was really a good interview with Bernard. We're definitely going to have him back. A lot of good information. Boy, the man really knows pickleball, I got to say that. But now we're going to take a little bit of a time out and have a coach's minute. We haven't had one of those for a while, so sit back and enjoy. Take a time out for a coach's minute.
All right, y'all, welcome back to the Pickleball Crew's Coach's Minute. In some previous Coach's Minutes, Ken had talked a good bit about consistency with the serve and then moving the serve around, making sure you get it deep in the box. Today, I'm going to talk about throwing something in there every now and then. It's a lob serve. All right, so I'm going to get back here. So you're playing in a match, and you're giving people your, the same pace, kind of moving them around a little bit, just hitting a good deep serve, okay? Midpoint of the match or toward the end of the match, you'd be shocked every now and then. Just throw in a lob serve like that. Especially this works good sometimes against tennis players where they're having to, that one was a little shallow, they're having to create their own pace, and sometimes it will actually mess them up and you'll get an outright error, or you will get an easy return that you can put back in the kitchen. So every now and then, throw in a lob serve and just check it out. You might be shocked. And sometimes winning 1 or 2 points with a little different pace can mean a difference in winning a game or losing a game. That's this week's Coach's Minute.
Hot off the press, it's time for Ken's tournament previews.
Hey, thanks, Bud. Let's talk tournament previews. August 24th, 25th. It's the Louisiana State Games in Monroe, Louisiana. Go to pickleballbrackets.com to register. Registration closes August 17th. September 7th. This is the Dink Minor League Pickleball Tournament at Pops Ferry Park, Biloxi, Mississippi. Go to pickleballbrackets.com to register. It's $70 per person. September 6th through 8th, this is the United Pickleball Association State Championships at the New Orleans Hilton, New Orleans, Louisiana. Go to pickleballbrackets.com to register. Registration closes August 31st. September 14th, 15th. This is the New Orleans Paddle Battle. This is also at the New Orleans Hilton, New Orleans, Louisiana. Go to pickleballbrackets.com to register. It's $60 per person. Registration closes September 13th. Let's see. September 12th through 15th is the Ruckle Middle School Pickleball Tournament at Mooney Park, Fort Walton Beach, Florida. We'll put the URL at the bottom of the screen. We also have a flyer with a QR code, but you go to www.performancepicklballemeraldcoast.com. We'll put both the URL and the flyer with the QR code on the screen to register. September 13th through 15th, for the love of the Y. This is at the Paul G. Manship YMCA Lamar Tennis Center, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Go to pickleballbrackets.com to register. Look, this is a fundraiser tournament for where all proceeds will go to help the Y expand their community outreach program. Very important. If you're not doing anything that weekend, go to the YMCA or register for this tournament at the YMCA in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. September 20th through 21st. It's a new listing. This is the Laurel MLP at Daphne Park in Laurel, Mississippi. We have a flyer on the screen. We have a QR code. Scan that QR code to register. The same weekend, September 21st, 22nd, another new listing. This is the Pelican Park Fall Classic at Pelican Park in Mandeville, Louisiana. Go to pelicanparkrecdesk.com. We'll put the URL at the bottom of the screen. This is our home venue. It's a great place to play. 8 outdoor courts. So check it out. The Pelican Park Fall Classic. September 27th through 29th. This is the 3rd annual Bubba Hart Memorial at the Graywood Golf and Racquet Club in Lake Charles, Louisiana. Go to pickleballbrackets.com to register. Registration closes September 20th. September 27th through 29th, this is the Canebrake Kitchen Classic at Canebrake Pickleball in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Go to pickleballbrackets.com to register. This is singles, mixed doubles, gender doubles, and registration closes September 8th. September 27th through 29th, this is the National Pickleball Daphne Classic at W.O. Lott Park in Daphne, Alabama. Go to pickleballbrackets.com to register. Registration will close September 23rd for this one. This also has singles, mixed doubles, gender doubles. October 4th through 6th, the West Feliciana Pickleball Classic Fall Fling. This is at the West Feliciana Sportsplex in St. Francisville, Louisiana. We're going to put David Parker's telephone number at the bottom of the screen. This one you have to print and fill out and mail in the flyer. There's no online registration. Check the local Southeast Louisiana pickleball Facebook groups. You'll find the flyer. Ask around, especially those for the West Feliciana area. But this is a fun event. They really do. They do a Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday. It's always a great time. Look, bring your camper. You can spend the night in your camper right on the premises. Also, October 4th through 6th, this is Louisiana Senior Games. It's going to be a new location, Stacks Pickleball in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. We'll put the URL at the bottom of the screen. It's www.lsog1.org/registration.html. This is a qualifying year for nationals, which will be in the summer of 2025 in Des Moines, Iowa. So don't miss it. If you're 50 and over, it's a great opportunity to get your spot in for nationals. October 18th through 20th is the Mississippi State Championship at Pops Ferry Park in Biloxi, Mississippi. Go to pickleballbrackets.com to register. Registration closes October 13th. October 25th through 27th is the Hollow Wheel annual fundraiser tournament in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. We'll put a URL at the bottom of the screen. The registration is full. It has been full for a while, but if you want to get on the waiting list, go to the URL, fill it out, because look, it's inevitable somebody's going to have to drop out, and they're pulling people from the wait list only. So go ahead and register to be on the wait list if you're interested in this tournament. It's really a good time. November 2nd is the Patriot Pickleball Tournament at Coquille Recreational Park in Covington, Louisiana. This is only 3-0 and 3-5 level. It's gender double and mixed double. We'll put the flyer on the screen. Also, November 15th through 17th, this is the World Pickleball Tour at Breck Greenwood in Baker, Louisiana. Go to pickleballbrackets.com to register. Registration will close November 10th. So look, there's a lot of tournaments coming up September, October, November. Get out there, register for some tournaments. That's it for tournament preview. Back to you, bud.
Ken, thanks for those previews. Everybody get out there and sign up for those tournaments. And now, if nobody has anything else, I think it's time to say goodnight.
Good night, everybody.
Everybody.
Hey, from the Pickleball crew, thanks for watching, and we'll see you all next week. Well, that's it for this episode. We hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to leave any comments, and please like and subscribe to our channel. Thanks again, and see you next week.